Hi everyone, this is Balázs from RacingBrick and today we are diving back into the world of LEGO Smart Play. The CES reveal created quite a stir, and after my first video, well, you had opinions, a lot of them. Since then a few things happened. I tried to gather more information. LEGO already revealed the second wave of Smart Play Star Wars sets, and these are compatible with the system, except they don't actually include the Smart Brick. We will get to that because it's a fascinating business choice. And finally, I realized that Smart Play almost launched 2 years earlier in a completely different theme, and honestly that might have been the better option. So today we will look at 3 things: your feedback about the launch, the new Smart Play compatible sets that don't include Smart Bricks, and the alternate universe where Smart Play launched in Lego City Jungle instead of a galaxy far far away. Let's start with the comments from my previous video, because you all collectively wrote a dissertation about Smart Play. The overall tone wasn't fully negative, it was more like interesting tech, wrong execution. It's important to remember that these are playsets for kids, not for collectors, not for AFOs. They are meant to be played with, and the extra bells and whistles are part of that play experience. In that context, play function will often override form, and that's intentional. A lot of you were genuinely impressed by the Smart Play hardware, just like myself. But the immediate question was, what do we do with it? How open is it? Can you customize it? Can it talk to powered up, bricks, or even just some motors? And the answer for now is no. There's no interface, no coding, no generic tags, no customization. For hardware with this potential, that feels like a shame. Availability was another recurring theme. The initial launch covers only 6 countries, but honestly, after seeing the freshly revealed wave, I think it might actually be better to limit the disappointment to a few countries only for now. But clearly, the biggest emotional reaction came from sound, and specifically from the tension between Smart Play and Star Wars. The Smart Brick doesn't play pre-recorded sounds, it has a built-in synthesizer, which makes it quite flexible. But at the same time, it apparently cannot reproduce iconic Star Wars sound design properly. The TIE Fighter scream, lightsabers, blasters, these are either perfect or they instantly sound like a weak attempt from the 80s. I can't play you samples at this point due to potential copyright issues. My previous video was also flagged, but you can hear a few sounds in the product videos on lego.com. And this might be the entire core of the mismatch. If the helicopter in the city set sounds a bit toyish, nobody cares. If the TIE Fighter doesn't sound like a TIE Fighter, people care a lot. From LEGO's perspective, it probably seemed logical to pair Smart Play with the biggest brand they have, but from a fan expectation standpoint, it was the riskiest possible choice. That brings us to the second development, the new Smart Play Star Wars sets announced for March. These sets include smart minifigures and smart tags, they work with the system, but they do not include the Smart Brick. This practically means they function like a DLC without the console. If you will buy at least one of the 3 launch sets that include the Smart Brick, then you get the full experience with these. If not, they are just regular Star Wars sets with extra tags that do nothing. Okay, to be fair, the DLC analogy is not entirely correct. They are still fully playable as LEGO sets, everything works just without the extra light and sound, and from what I've seen, the designers even tried to hide the absence of the Smart Brick here and there. Just look at the Mos Eisley Cantina for example. There's a replacement boombox behind the band and the minifigures still dance if you move the lever, but there won't be any music. That blender, which is an interesting choice for a light and sound feature anyway, has a printed panel and the assembly rotates, but if you replace that tile with a Smart Brick it will make noises. Which is fine, but probably not the most iconic element of this location. Now from LEGO's perspective, I sort of understand the logic. The Smart Brick might be an expensive component, and spreading it across every set with an obligatory charger included would push the price even further, which is the last thing Star Wars sets need. But from a customer perspective, this creates huge confusion. These boxes will advertise Smart Play, they will have new figures and new tags, they will look like they do something. And unless you bought a different set, they don't. Yes, the logo is different, these say Smart Play compatible, the others say Smart Play all-in-one. Yes, there are hints and warnings. You can guess how many parents will realize the difference before the first purchase. Just imagine the scenario. The kid is excited about Smart Play, you go into a store, you see a Millennium Falcon with Smart Play branding, you take it home and then realize nothing works because the main part of the system is not included. And here comes the worst part, you cannot go back to the store and buy a Smart Brick separately. The cheapest option is another Star Wars set for €70 or dollars. And if your set requires 2 smart bricks for the full experience, like the ATST Attack on Endor, which looks okay for $50, then suddenly you need to either buy 2 sets with 1 brick in each for $160, or the one set that includes 2 bricks for the same price. That might not be a coincidence. If anything feels flawed in this launch, I think the lack of standalone smart bricks is high on the list. From that perspective, I'm genuinely happy LEGO will not launch the product worldwide. I think they will get enough calls from confused customers to rethink the strategy and offer standalone smart bricks eventually. And by the way, the smart ready sets with smart tags and smart minifigures are not even that expensive, in LEGO Star Wars terms of course. A small playable Falcon with 4 minifigures for $100 does not stand out. This one is smaller, has more parts and details but 0 minifigures, and it was only slightly cheaper. This whole approach would be totally fine if we could buy the Smart Brick plus charger separately. Now let's talk about the alternate universe, because Smart Play didn't actually start with Star Wars. As we learned, Smart Play has been in development for 8 years, and apparently it was almost launch ready much earlier. In 2024, LEGO already showed us this technology in City, specifically the Jungle Explorer line. A pilot program was announced in the UK. The sets included the smart tiles and minifigures with animals, vehicles, a volcano, a toilet. That one would have clearly been the community favorite. And the smart brick itself was bundled into a big base camp set with 2 smaller compatible add-on sets. I'm not sure what happened. LEGO had the product pages and you can still find articles, references and images online. I don't know if the UK pilot was considered successful or if it even took place, but those sets never reached the shelves. Regardless, I think City was still a much better thematic match for the smart brick. Jungle noises, helicopters, animals, trucks, volcanoes, those are sound profiles that don't demand cinematic authenticity. Kids don't care if a crocodile sounds 8-bit. Meanwhile, Star Wars fans absolutely care if a lightsaber does. City also doesn't carry a license tag, the target audience is younger, and it's already full of vehicles and roleplay scenarios, which is exactly what Smart Play is designed for. We could have had a global launch with a simple starter structure, 1 smart brick, a charger, a bag of fun tags, and then compatible sets that add variety. Instead, we got Star Wars, premium pricing, limited countries, and very high expectations. And I'm not convinced that was the best move for the technology. I still think smart brick hardware is genuinely interesting. It's compact, it's clever, and if it becomes even slightly more open and more customizable, it could have real long-term potential. But the launch strategy matters. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and right now the impression is not, wow, the future of LEGO Play, it's more like, wow, that's expensive, and why doesn't it sound like Star Wars? I will still try to get the launch sets as soon as I can, and I will test battery life, sound experience, range, latency, tag interactions and everything else that wasn't covered in the promos. Until then, let me know what you want me to test, what you think about the new compatible sets, and whether you agree that City might have been the better launch theme. Let's talk about it in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications, as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.